Good day everyone. Before we dive into our topic, let's first understand what projectile motion means. Projectile motion is a type of motion that happens when an object is thrown or launched into the air and moves along a curved path called a trajectory. This motion is caused by two main components: horizontal motion, which remains constant, and vertical motion, which changes due to gravity pulling the object downward. When these two motions combine, they form a curved path, usually shaped like a parabola. Now, let's connect this idea to the tossing of an elastic or rubber band. There are many Filipino games that I enjoyed during when I was a kid. One popular seasonal games that I encounter is LASTKO, and there is a game that I enjoy playing in order to win a lot of elastic bands, or LASTKO, which are traditional Filipino games. Objectives of the game. Players engage in a game of rock, paper, scissors first. The loser will sacrifice one of their LASTKO and placing it somewhere inaccessible from the player's perimeter. After placing the LASTKO, toss it in accordance with the winner of the rock, paper, scissors game until you are able to catch the bands that have been on the ground. Only one player will receive a prize. The bands that have been on the ground are the rewards. That's all for the introduction of the game. Now let's proceed to the real topic. When you toss an elastic band, you might think it just flies through the air randomly, but there's actually some interesting physics happening. The curved path that the elastic band follows isn't accidental. It's the result of how forces and motion work together once the band leaves your hand. When you throw the elastic band, you're storing potential energy in it. As soon as you release it, that stored energy changes into kinetic energy, the energy of motion. This push gives the elastic band a forward force, sending it through the air. But from the moment it leaves your hand, gravity begins to pull it downward. So, while the band keeps moving forward because of its speed, it also starts to fall because of gravity, and those two motions combine to form a curved path in the air. If you watch carefully, you'll notice that the elastic band first goes up, slows down at a certain height, and then comes back down. At its highest point, the upward motion briefly stops, its vertical speed becomes zero, before gravity takes over and pulls it back down. Meanwhile, its forward motion quickly dropped because a lot of factors affecting it, such as less force exerted, air resistance, and gravity pulling in. This combination of moving forward and falling downward at the same time creates the arch-shaped path we see when the band flies. What's interesting is that every time you toss the elastic band with the same angle and strength, it will follow almost the same path. That's because the motion depends on three main factors: how strongly you throw the band, the angle you release it at, and the effect of gravity pulling it down. If you release it at a higher angle, it travels higher but not as far. And if you release it at a lower angle, it travels farther but doesn't rise much. These relationships perfectly show how gravity and initial speed interact when an object moves through the air. Therefore, tossing an elastic band clearly demonstrates the concept of projectile motion. Once released, the band moves through the air under the influence of gravity, following a curved path called a parabola. Its motion combines both horizontal and vertical components, the horizontal remaining constant while the vertical changes due to gravity's pull, resulting in the familiar arc shape of projectiles. This simple action shows how gravity and initial force work together to determine the path of an object in flight. The speed and angle at which the elastic band is thrown affect how far and high it travels, but it will always return to the ground following the same curved motion. Overall, tossing an elastic band serves as an easy and effective demonstration of how objects behave when projected through the air, helping us better understand the principles of motion, gravity, and trajectory in everyday life. That's all for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate your time and support.